Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening and welcome to the most exciting part of the year. That's right, we are here at the Owlet Playoffs, everybody. We have seen so many things throughout this tournament. We've seen C9s, we've seen complete holds, we've seen map 6s, we've seen it all. And now it's come down to this. These two teams, Otter, Oxide, and Hyperion, are vying for the next slot in the semifinals. One team is going to go home today, and one is going to continue playing. My name is Warren Juggle God Hammond, and tonight I am once again joined by my good friend, Mr. Amintus Major. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Well, happy to be casting with you. I feel like it's been a while since we've done an Owlet broadcast, and what better time than playoffs to reconvene and come back in here, especially with two very interesting teams in their own right. So we did a little bit of preliminary research. We went back and watched the last time these two teams played, which was actually back in Stage 2, Week 4, so not very long ago. And the result of that one was quite interesting. It was a 3-0 for Otter Oxide. So a couple of the things we noted from that performance back then was Otter Oxide seemed to have a lot of curveballs. Hyperion was really slow to adapt to a lot of the adjustments Otter Oxide was making. And they need to fix that particular issue if they want to have a chance today.
I agree with you completely. And, you know, even though the scoreline was 3-0, I don't think that tells the whole story. You know, the control map that we saw, they were playing Busan back then. It went to map 3, and it was close the entire way through. And the King's Row map that they did as well went all the way to third point for both teams. So, you know, I imagine we're going to see some good stuff today from both teams. But there is one interesting thing that I think we have to talk about with Hyperion, and that's the fact that the King is not in the lineup tonight.
Exactly. We have the Dark Ember in rather than the King, which, to be honest, I have not seen Dark Embers play at all this season. So a bit of a fresh face for me to kind of assess that performance, see how it slots into Hyperion. I think some other issues that Hyperion had in that previous match, they really only looked good on Brawl. Their 6-man dive was a bit shaky, even against what Otter Oxide was doing, a 6-man dive mirror without a Sombra, mind you. It still struggled. So they're going to have to pick up some other compositions outside of Brawl that they feel comfortable on if they want to have a chance here.
Yeah, they certainly will, and you know they've had ample time, I believe, to work on some of those new compositions. You know, it's been a couple weeks since they faced Otter Oxide, so that is time. You know, they went through another game in the Owlet series, and yeah, I hope that we see a difference from them regarding that, because already we are seeing them load up in spawn with what looks like a 6-man dive.
Yeah, Dark Ember and Hawk, both on the Reaper hero. Very cool character, like the double shotguns. I'll drop that meme now, but basically, I think the DPS are the huge emphasis in this comp mirror that we need to watch. Oakley and Dark Ember seem to be a bit behind the curve. Big Newbie gets the first hack on that health pack.
Yeah, that's going to prove very, very beneficial for Otter Oxide. So they're going to be able to take that, and Bishop really needs it right now. He's getting heals chunked into him, but it's not enough. Lexi's able to finish them off, and now Hyperion is able to take this push a lot further forward. That hack did a lot of work too on a Yellow Cello. Hawk goes down as well. And yeah, this point is going to go over first to Hyperion.
Pretty interesting. Considering they had that health pack hacked, I figured, you know, that would have given Bishop enough sustain to play on that front line, but he just kind of goes down to the shotguns and all that close range damage. It seems like Lexi had a much easier time shooting him down. You can see the ult charge diff at the top of your screen right now.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We're already 95% to Felix Penguin's Coalescence. Hawk goes down again to Oakley. Tremendous pick as well. And McNewbie gets spotted out as well on that Sombra. They're going to have to, yeah, recall and try again. But they recall right into Dark Ember. What phenomenal play from him. That's going to stagger Otter Oxide even more.
He's trying to carry this momentum further. Look at this corner teleport. Entering this backline completely undetected. Yellow Cello completely caught unawares. If he drops on Jumpy, that's a dead Moira.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the Death Blossom probably incoming here very soon. They have to use the Fae to get out. Dark Ember, though, taken out now with that left Death Blossom. So Jumpy feels free to pop this Coalescence now. The EMP comes in. 5 members of Otter Oxide caught, but it doesn't seem to matter as the dominoes are falling the way for Otter Oxide.
Yeah, that was a bit of a head scratcher. I feel like Dark Ember had a great flank going there. He had a lot of time to scout out who he wanted to go after, but now as he recontests, once again, he's getting forced out, and he seems like he's really struggling when the tempo is in his favor. When the cards are in his hand, he's kind of just folding right away. So we need to watch him in this next engage because he's got so many other things to worry about now, particularly McNewbie's EMP.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Oakley used theirs last fight, so it's going to be a long time before they have a counter EMP up, but Lissaru does have this beat, so that's good for them. Jesus Freak jumps in, goes down very, very low. There's the EMP, it catches 4 this time. Jesus Freak down, and now it's all that Hyperion can try to do to keep them up. The Death Blossom comes in, though. Diva Bomb as well. This is an even fight right now. Both support ults from Lucio popped as well, but it is gonna be Hyperion coming up on top this time around.
That was so surprising because McNewbie caught Lissaru, preventing the beat from coming out in time, but somehow, some way, Dark Ember stays alive, DMX Yellow Cello, and gets huge value off that Death Blossom. Great performance from him. With 70% on the clock now, all he has to do is put up another one, and this will result in a map win, but they need to force out these off angles quickly.
Yeah, they certainly do. Here comes the Diva Bomb, forcing that angle. Doesn't catch anybody, but it certainly zones people. And now, the Sombra fight happening. Oakley forced to recall. Lexi is hacked at the moment. Hawk has this Death Blossom, though, that they can use. Right now, they're just fighting over kind of this neutral high ground territory, but the fight has started to move to the point, and there's the Death Blossom. Coming off the heels of a pick from Hyperion, but it's still 2-2 on point. The Coalescence popped by Jumpy.
That's going to give them the sustain that they need to push out a couple of these staggered members. There was an opportunity there for Oakley to maybe come back in with an EMP, but too little, too late, not quick enough off the draw. So fight win goes to Otter Oxide, and they need to put up some lights out performances in these next 2 engages, because if a single member of Otter Oxide gets picked off early here and you can't equalize in turn, the ult bank difference for Hyperion is just going to come to fruition and crush you in the neutral.
Yeah, it certainly is. We see high ground starting to be staged here for Hyperion. They're able to push out Hawk, so this proves good for them. They're going to be able to jump wherever they want to when they do decide to dive here. Jesus Freak looking for the right opportunities. Oakley might be that opportunity right now. We see him in the back line with his EMP, but the EMP hits first from McNewbie. McNewbie goes down, but there's the counter EMP. Trades happen. Lissaru, crucially, is down for Hyperion. There's no beat for them. Jesus Freak gonna have to do as much as they can to sustain with this Primal Rage through Jumpy's Coalescence, and Jumpy already has. Look at that, Felix, the Coalescence actually coming in huge for them. And at 99-99, Hyperion comes away with this. Can the staggers come in? Can anyone contest? Yes, there's one member from Otter Oxide. Are they going to be able to get anything else? Lissaru pops the beat early to try and push out Pup. But now, there's so many members from Otter Oxide coming back. They may regret using that already. The beat comes out for Big Muzzy, and now Otter Oxide really looking like they could take control of this point. Oakley going down very low. Jumpy, though, is down, so this might be it, and yes, Hyperion takes the first round of Busan.
Man, they really had you there, didn't they? You really thought they could come back, but Hyperion kind of playing with their food there a little bit. The early beat just, triggering a couple members of Otter Oxide, and they're not able to make it back in time to capitalize. So first point goes over to Hyperion. I'd say that it came off of the back of Dark Ember's Reaper performance. Whenever he was coming online, whenever he was lighting up that kill feed, that was the difference maker in a lot of those mid-fight engages. Not necessarily the EMPs proving as useful as you might think in 6-man. So clearly the swap in for Dark Ember here compared to the King has an impact already in 6-man dive. Let's see if they can continue that success onto the second point of, what is this map? Oh god, I forgot.
Busan. I got you. Yeah, it'll be curious to see. This is another map that's really well suited to these compositions as well. Interestingly, we have McNewbie over on the McCree now, so I imagine that's probably in response to Dark Ember.
Yeah, we saw him actually play this exact hero in the last time that these two teams met. Gives a little bit more close range and long range threat. Early engage coming in from Hyperion, but that's a lot of low health bars. Lexi's already DMX'd, so no Matrix in this mid fight.
Yeah, and without a Matrix, that means that McNewbie and Hawk are just free to rain as much damage in as they can, and they have started doing just that as Dark Ember goes down. Point being very, very violently contested, but again, this is still coming up good for Otter Oxide.
Yeah, that D-Mech on Lexi was just so big. The moment that's gone,
Yeah.
you don't have anything to help protect Jesus Freak from multiple angles. You can't really focus down targets as effectively. So, good emphasis from Otter Oxide. And this is something that we saw from the last two times, or rather the last time these two teams played. Otter Oxide put so much emphasis into Lexi on this Diva, and it felt like Hyperion just kind of crumbled under that pressure. So, Lexi has to change something in the playstyle, maybe go a little bit further back than normal to prevent getting D-Mechs.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Jumpy is coming along with this Coalescence as well, and so that's going to prove troublesome for Lexi too. Deadeye popped, doesn't catch anything, zones members of Hyperion away, and there is that Coalescence from Jumpy. It's being dueled now, though, by Felix Penguin. Here's the Death Blossom, unable to really get much going with it, and Dark Ember, unable to get much value from it. The EMP, is able to catch, could be able to catch somebody here coming up soon. Is Oakley going to use it? Is the question.
I see no reason as to why not. It's too late at this point.
There it
There's
is.
Capture percentage, but they can kite this out effectively enough. Maybe this mech comes in.
Yeah, it's unclear at the moment, but oh, that's going to clear things out. McNewbie is, with that Peacekeeper pistol, able to get the job done eventually, and Otter Oxide holds on to this point.
There was such a good opportunity for Oakley to EMP in the middle of that engage as soon as Big Muzzy drops that beach, but it's just too little too late, and by the time he drops it, there had been too much disengage on Otter Oxide to just walk away from it. And now, as we look towards the final few moments of this the second point rather, it has to be off the back of Lexi and Dark Ember once again with these ultimates, but they've struggled in the past, so they have to change something in their playstyle here.
Yeah, that's true, and they're going to have to watch out for McNewbie as well. Here comes the Diva Bomb to open things up, trying to spread things off on point. Coalescence popped by Felix Penguin as well, and it's the combination of Coalescence and Death Blossom that does the dirty work and sends Hyperion to their first point capture here on Temple.
Damage and healing on both of those. Keeps Dark Ember and Felix Penguin chugging through that engage, but that's a lot of capture percentage for Otter Oxide right now, 93%. So basically, the moment that Hyperion loses a fight, it's lights out for them. They have to be on fire the whole way through if they want to win this first map. Oakley going for a little bit more EMP charge. He's at 80%. It will come online in the mid-fight, but Otter Oxide, they want to end this quickly.
Yeah, they certainly do. The question is, do they have the tools to do it? Jumpy will have this Coalescence very, very soon. Oh, Oakley goes down very low, forced to translocate away. They're not going to be building up this EMP that quickly. Primal popped from Jesus Freak. McNewbie almost gets zoned out by that Primal, but everybody from Hyperion has hidden away now, and it's just going to be useful as a zoning tool. Now, everybody again from Hyperion descends back on the point, but McNewbie is able to catch out Jesus Freak. Here's the EMP. It catches 5 members, but Oakley goes down immediately. Can Bishop keep his team up with this Primal Rage? And it looks like they're going to be able to successfully do it. McNewbie taking down Felix Penguin. The Death Blossom from Hawk clearing out the point, and that's going to be Otter Oxide regaining control.
5% left on the clock. It looks like Oakley's flanking through that left side, trying to get the touch. Almost gets spotted out, but does proc it. However, it's so staggered, it feels like they're just streaming in and dying one by one here. There's really no aggressive tools to turn this engage, and we're looking at a 1-1 score on Busan. We're probably going to go the distance.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the case, unless there are some heroics here from Dark Ember. They don't have a Death Blossom, and the Flashbang plus the headshot. That's going to seal the deal. And this is looking very, very reminiscent of what we saw 2 weeks ago on this exact map.
Exactly. It does feel like deja vu here. And, speaking of which, the last time these teams played, Mecha Base went the way of Hyperion when we saw the Brawl Mirror come out. I think one of the biggest things that happened in that previous match was when Otter Oxide had a different DPS lineup in, they kind of struggled in the Brawl matchup. The Mei back then was really struggling to get walls off in a good position. And now it's on Hyperion to kind of take onus and take ownership of the advantage that they have in Brawl and push it to a first map win in the series.
Yeah, and I really think that this is an interesting look now coming out from Hyperion. They've decided to opt into the Doomfist, looking for that one pick potential to start things off.
Lexi's likely going to drop the bubble onto Dark Ember. He's going very aggressive early. Here comes the slam. It only catches one. He gets stunned out, forces the land with 0 follow-up, and that's a 5v6.
Yeah, this is going to go very, very easily for the way of Otter Oxide, although they are getting pushed back very hard from a lot of aggression coming out from Hyperion, so maybe not. Maybe they can try and equalize, but it's already been a pretty long amount of time since they lost someone. They are still posturing, though. Here comes an amplification matrix from Jumpy. Shatter as well, loosed by Jesus Freak. And Jesus Freak able to find Yellow Cello after they're demeched. This fight has moved firmly onto the point now, and it is being hotly contested.
The walls are down, so Dark Ember has no punch targets. He does manage to find Bishop still, but it's going so close. It looks like Hyperion is getting the edge here. Just a couple last picks to clean up, and Oakley tag teaming with Jesus Freak, doing so much of the brunt work on that engage. Just honestly hard carrying there. The Shatter from Jesus Freak buys enough time for Oakley to start laying in some of that damage, and now that they have control, this is where Zarya and Doomfist shine. You can get the charge on your Zarya, you can go for punch, flanks, so many different angles you can go from.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, Yellow Cello zones out Dark Ember, though, pretty early on that Doomfist.
Here comes.
Amplification Matrix now from Felix Penguin. Oh, the stun comes in, but Dark Ember is able to get away with that get out of jail free card known as Meteor Strike. And look at that, Oakley coming in big with the 2-kill Deadeye. A Yellow Cello says, I've seen enough of this. Y'all keep the point.
Yeah, I really do like the way that Hyperion is playing this. They have so many threats in the mid-fight. Like, past this first part of the engage, naturally, you have to be a little bit concerned because of the Diva Matrix, the Reaper. Once his Wraith is gone, though, there's just too many different fires to put out for Otter Oxide. They have to get a new watering hose just to get this engage started.
Yeah, they really do. There's nothing in there. But Dark Ember must be that watering hose because he comes up with 3 picks right off the bat. 5! Is he going to get the 6K?
Oh my god.
Does. The 6K, Dark Ember, what is going on with you, my friend? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
where did you come from?
We thought the King was the hard carry of Hyperion. No, Dark Ember's been chilling on the bench waiting for this opportunity, and he is proving why he deserves this spot right now. He's gonna have to put it up again. Listeru gets stunned out, has the beat available, but the grab whiffs from Lexi.
Yeah, it certainly does. That means that they're going to have to try something else on the side of Hyperion. But with a beat like that and the hammer swinging to and fro, you're not going to get much done if you're Hyperion here. That goes handily to Otter Oxide.
Yeah, I do think, though, that the problem with Hyperion's comp is it's very front-loaded, right? On the Doomfist side of things, you have sustained damage if your Zarya gets charged and if your McCree stays alive, but Bishop decides to remove that part of the equation just by shattering them down. So Dark Ember's binary playstyle has flipped heads enough on the coin. It needs to come up heads once more to win this map, but this one's already dead. So
yeah, and they had beat as well. That's that is certainly something that you don't want to see if you're a Hyperion fan. They wisely decide to just back up, and looks like they're going to try again, although they still seem to be somewhat engaged. They backed up.
They maintain Zarya charge. That's the important part, right? They're going to recontest with a couple key ultimates. Looks like the beat comes in first, behind noon to match. Nobody's majoring it right now. It takes out Big Muzzy.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a boon for them, especially because it's followed by Jumpy. The Shatter comes in from Bishop, and Hawk coming up big. So despite early picks onto the support line, Otter Oxide doing some really good work. But the point was recaptured by Otter Oxide, so they're able to get it to 99%.
This match is so back and forth, it feels like. I think Hyperion, sometimes they commit a lot at the start of the engage, but it doesn't let them go the distance. As if Otter Oxide can continue to kite these fights out, buy enough time for the DPS of McNewbie and Hawk to pop off, they're going to have a chance of winning.
Yeah, they certainly are. McNewbie almost has this Deadeye online as well. The Shatter whiffs. Immortality Field out for Otter Oxide, but Bishop is already down. McNewbie now on point, trying to zone out Dark Ember on this Doomfist. Can't figure out where he is. Jesus Freak is, in the meantime, taken out, though. Oakley finds Yellow Cello and a couple other picks in the meantime. So Hyperion looks like they're going to take this. Bishop is back. And Oakley uses the Deadeye to try and just reload, but it's not enough. And could this... Yeah, no, this is going to go the way of Hyperion. On Hyperion is, once the dust settles, looking primed to take this first map.
It has to be Hawk to save the day. 6% away from that Death Blossom. He doesn't get it out in time.
Oh, no.
Otter Oxide going to be kicking themselves after that one. That fight was so sloppy in both directions. But in the chaos, Hyperion thrives, and they win this first map.
What a turnaround from what we saw previously. I mean, like we said, both matches, or rather, Busan was very, very close 2 weeks ago. And this time it was almost, you mentioning the coin flipped this time towards Hyperion, and it's definitely on the back of Dark Ember.
Oh man, this one was a treat to watch. Glad we got to see this one in first person. But yeah, I had some question marks coming into the series about whether or not Dark Ember would slot well into this team. After a performance like that, I can't have any doubts anymore. He is good.
Yeah.
He is a very, very capable player. He has that Reaper. He's got the Doom Fist. I haven't seen his May. Naturally, we might end up seeing a pivot towards regular brawl comps if we go towards something like, a Rialto or a King's Row later in the series. But he seems pretty capable so far.
Yeah, Dark Ember has just been slow burning on that bench this entire time, like you said, for Hyperion. And my gosh, the performance from him has just been tremendous so far. I'm excited to see what we see next out of him. And it's great because we also have a couple of, new-ish players on Otter Oxide as well. New this season, at least. We did see him towards the end of the stage, but yeah.
So as we look towards the future in this series, we're going to be going to the escort map type next, and it's on Otter Oxide to select which map they would like. Looks like they're actually going to go towards Rialto here. This is a bit of an interesting one to me because this was the same map choice that Hyperion actually took after they lost the first map. Bit of a feels like we're kind of replaying the regular season match right now, and hopefully Hyperion can turn the tide in their favor, because when we saw them play this map last, they were just way too slow to adjust to what Otter Oxide was throwing at them. And once they got into that brawl mirror, things looked a little bit better, but they need to get there first.
Yeah, they certainly do, and that really was where they were struggling. I remember they also took a lot of flanks that I feel like were maybe a little ill-advised, which really slowed them down, and it allowed Otter Oxide to just kind of plow through them. They initially tried to play a double shield as well on this point. Didn't work either, so, it'll be interesting to see what they come out with, but now I'm a believer in whatever Hyperion's going to put on the table until they prove otherwise.
Yeah, and to your point, they also just subbed in Stuff and Things, who, to me, is more of the Reinhardt-oriented player for Hyperion. I always typically see him coming in for maps like King's Row. I think his Reinhardt has been extremely dominant in a lot of these ult engages where he gets that shatter online, lays out 6 people, sets things up for his team. So having him being subbed in this early in the series shows to me that they're likely going to pivot into Brawl to start off this next map of Rialto.
I think you are absolutely right. And one interesting thing that we noticed too, that I wanted to bring up, is that Hyperion looked very, very good in the neutral fight every time. And in fact, I think almost every time they had a neutral engagement, they came out on top.
Right.
And if they can just now start to cycle their ults better and, move a little bit quicker, adjust a little bit quicker, that could be all they need to take Otter Oxide.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the hardest part down, right? You got the neutral engages where there's no ults on the board, and if you're consistently winning those, it's a pretty easy thing to fix if you just figure out how to ult a little bit better, right? So Hyperion can obviously adjust. It's been 12 days since we last saw these two teams playing. I mean, but clearly there's been some changes in the flow of these fights just based off of how easy it's been for Hyperion up until this point. I think a lot of the times they're getting away with a lot, and Otter Oxide just kind of struggling to get a foothold in some of these engages. So as we go towards Rialto, a little bit more time in between fights, a lot more sight lines to work with. Maybe they can pull some tricks out of their hat, go for some wide flanks with McNewbie and Hawk popping off. But so far, Hyperion has dealt with everything Otter Oxide has thrown at them yet.
Yeah, and we are going to take it to a quick break, everybody, while we get a couple things on production side sorted, so stick around. Don't worry, we will be back very soon.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me kept me afloat. It felt like heaven that found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. Best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend. Lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me.
And we are back, everybody, and we have a visitor. We've got a who? Can you introduce us to who that is, Amintus? Right there on camera.
Absolutely. This is my cat Hazel, or well, our cat Hazel. She's very cute. She's also really loud, and she loves rubbing her head into stuff, especially my hand right now. So please get off the desk, Hazel. I love you, but okay, there we go. That was a guest appearance from the cat. Glad to be back, though. A little bit of
Yes.
a long break. Dark Ember had to reset that PC, but he is returned in the lobby. And just a quick reminder, we'll be going into Rialto next. So this is the same map they played in the previous matchup in the second map of the series. Last time it went the way of Otter Oxide, but I think it's time to move on from the past here because clearly Hyperion wants to set the record straight and fix history here.
Yeah, they certainly do, and they are off to a stellar start to do just that. And on, once again, the back of Dark Ember. Dark Ember just proving to be a tremendous boon right now. Certainly filling the king's shoes. Love you out there, my buddy, but you got to be happy that you've got a guy on the bench like this, to come in and take things like they've been going. So excited to see what Rialto is going to bring, and I hope we get to see a little bit more of it this time, because last time they were both here, we only saw first point.
Exactly. They got a full hold last time, Otter Oxide did, and I think it came off of the back of an inability to adapt from Hyperion. Hopefully they've watched that match back and changed their playstyle a little bit here, figured out a better comp to start on, because to me it feels like whenever Hyperion gets a good start for themselves, they can take that momentum and go the distance with it. And Otter Oxide struggled in the past to get a foothold in some of those maps, but when they did, it was very one-sided again. So a lot of the times in these maps, the team that wins first does not necessarily mean that's the team that wins the map. It's really who gets the momentum near the end of it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'll be curious to see how that manifests itself in this map as well. We could see that kind of a thing happen 3 times over. It's like there's almost like a middle, there's like 3 endings to the map, as it were, with those 3 checkpoints. Exactly. So we could see that kind of cycle play out a few times.
Looks like to start off here, Hyperion going for a bit of a longer range option with the Torb Ash, and as well as the Sigma. So they want to take these engages a little bit further away than melee range, and it'll be interesting to see if Hyperion actually finds success with this, because Otter Oxide have scouted with the Sombra, and they choose to go for the regular Brawl comp. Okay, so we have 2 different sides of Brawl, distance versus melee range, and if Otter Oxide can't get close enough to get some value out of the freeze from May and the stun from McNewbie, they're going to struggle on this point.
Yeah, they certainly are. Lexi's definitely going to be looking to kite back very far. Right now, Otter Oxide deciding to go ahead and push this high ground and try and zone out anybody who's currently up there. Hyperion has given them space now, let them take this high ground, and are pushing the cart. But this is exactly how Hyperion is going to have to play this. They got to play it slow, and they got to kite away.
Hawk drops that wall to buy some time, allow McNewbie to maybe poke off a little bit more on the off angle, but it looks like they're not getting any value up there. And in the meantime, Hyperion actually forces out the lamp from Otter Oxide, so distinct resource advantage.
Oh, the shatter comes in, but it is expertly blocked by Bishop. His shield barely holding on for dear life there. Amplification Matrix out from Jumpy, and that's going to cause Hyperion to just kite back for the moment. And we see Dark Ember get pushed out by Yellow Cello. That's the member that they needed to take out. And now Hyperion is falling to the wayside as Otter Oxide really starts to pick up steam here on this first point.
Yellow Cello just goes behind everybody on Hyperion and kills 3 uncontested. That was insane. That was an assassin diva right there. You don't see that one very often, and Otter Oxide are more than happy to trade that mech health for 3 kills. And this recontest is nearly impossible in the face of Hawk's May.
Yeah, it certainly is, especially with the look at the boop, the charge boop. I'm not sure if Bishop meant to do that or not, but that came out looking like a 9,000 IQ play right there. Oakley and the rest of Hyperion decide to just wisely back up and wait for their main tank to get back to the point.
And now we're really seeing the struggles here of the comp from Hyperion. They want to take these long-range engages, but Otter Oxide is saying, no, we're going to get up in your face and take these fights how we want. Call for pause coming out, but it's too late. It seems like nobody's actually acting on that. It looks like Hyperion's struggling to find a foothold, and that bomb, I mean, when you're down a player, there's not a lot you can do there.
Yeah, that was just enormous. And a quick refresher on the rules, just for everybody, so you're aware. In Owlet, the rules do state that if a pause comes in, you do pause after the team fight is already over. That was them, doing what they were supposed to. They're not ignoring Lissaru, but knowing what was going on. And so now we're just going to wait and see for a moment what they needed. And it looks like we're probably going to be back into this, right away. So we're back into it. And with Otter Oxide firmly in control now of this second point.
Yeah, no harm, no foul there, in my opinion, because Otter Oxide had to commit 4 ults just to make that happen, even in a bit of an awkward scenario there. So, onus is on Hyperion on this recontest to make something happen. They've got a lot of tools to open it up, but Lisserou's got the beat forced out early from McNewby's high noon.
Yeah, but now they're going to be able to use that to push themselves pretty far forward. Lexi is demeched, though, but Big Muzzy goes down. And now Dark Ember doing, once again, some good work there in the back line. It's a 4v4 right now, so it could go either way.
Otter Oxide, they're going to have to eventually back up here, though, because Dark Ember just gets 2 hammer kills back to back. Okay, we already got the hammer kills coming out. He went deep. He wanted more, but he could not get it. You know, honestly, though, 2 is enough, in my opinion. That's demoralizing enough if you're Otter Oxide.
Yeah, someone in chat, start making a Dark Ember bingo, because we've already seen some pretty amazing things tonight. The 6K plus the double torp hammer kill. This guy is out of control. Amplification Matrix comes in from Jumpy, forces Hyperion to back away from that corner now. And here's the Molten Core. He just spills it all over the top of that high ground. Is able to catch McNewby from it, but he is traded in turn as members of Otter Oxide just descend on him. Stuffing Things has the shatter. Is he going to use it? Bishop goes down dangerously low.
Waiting. There it is. He fire strikes. He gets 2 in the back line, but they trade immediately. Both teams dropping the shatter, but it's Otter Oxide that gets more value in the end there.
Yeah, it looks like Bishop came up with the shatterest of shatters right there compared to Stuffing Things. But Lexi goes down to McNewby, and this point is going to be handily captured now by the Otter Oxides.
Dark Ember is trying to put those carry pants on once again here. Goes in, Torbolts kills 1, but there's no follow-up from the rest of his team. Now, Hyperion are on the back foot. They're just going to keep picked off 1 by 1 here. So much front-loaded damage that it feels like Hyperion is just not expecting a lot of these early engages from Otter Oxide.
No, to be quite honest, Hyperion has felt a bit of Hyperi off right now in this match. This is not the Hyperion that we saw on Busan, for sure. Amplification Matrix out, though, already from Felix Penguin, and that is going to zone away Otter Oxide. But they've got 4 of their own ults to work with. McNewby pops the Deadeye, but is immediately... Oh, that was Hawk immediately taken out by Oakley. And there, Jumpy is able to take Oakley out that time. Dark Ember now pushing with the rest of Hyperion against Otter Oxide, and they finally stabilize here on 3rd point.
Yeah, I feel like Hyperion plays through the DPS very frequently. We've seen this in the past for them as well. Bit of a just a fun Torbolt. Is he going to go off the ledge too? That's interesting. Okay. You know, because now you're in a 5v6, right? Because obviously you want to swap. That's fine. But you just gave up a lot of space and maybe a pretty decent chance at winning this next fight. And Otter Oxide is going to take full cart control here.
Yeah, they are just completely uncontested. Here comes the Blizzard. Hyperion frozen. Going down very, very low, but the armor and the health does stick around because Lizard was there to pop that sound barrier, but it's not going to be enough as 3 members are already down for Hyperion.
That's so unfortunate for Hyperion. I mean, Dark Ember obviously whiffs that ultimate and wants to swap, but as a direct result of that, they just lose the 5v6 on this next engage. And recontesting against the Mei is so difficult. I mean, you see Lisserou's just getting frozen on cards. They have to go for these Hail Mary plays.
Yeah, and there is one. Felix Penguin goes down, but yeah, that's going to be round 1 for Otter Oxide, and they finish with 1:44 on the clock. Not a bad time, especially on Rialto.
Yep, you're going to have a lot of different opportunities to buy time on this next defense for Otter Oxide. Just stall out that clock, use the 2 minutes you have to your advantage. And the way they're playing Mei right now, very surprising. I really did expect Dark Ember to at some point swap over to Mei, but it seems like that's just not a character that's in his hero pool right now.
Yeah, I think we'll know for certain once we see what they decide to pick here on offense. There's still a chance, I suppose, that Mei is in the books for him, but it feels pretty unlikely, to be honest.
Just from the behavior we saw, like we saw him drop that Torbolts in their spawn, jump off the map and die, and then go to Hanzo rather than mirroring the Mei there. But I'm just a little bit confused because I feel like having that Mei enables you to recontest a lot more consistently than something like a Torbjorn on the defending side. When you don't have the Mei, you have to rely on all of these other extraneous characters that might not necessarily want to contest. such as the D.Va, the Lucio, and you see both times those characters just get repeatedly punished. Lexi and Lissaru really struggling in this map, and I do feel like it's because of a lack of Mei.
Yeah, you know, maybe we're starting to feel the pain of the King not being in the lineup at this point, because the King, maybe the King, he's their Mei player, and without him, this does look a lot rougher for Hyperion. You know, whereas before it was their rush that was the strong point. Right now, it's looking to be their dive.
I guess so. Dark Ember goes over to Echo now, so he has to scout out the hit scan threat. It's McNewbie on this Ashe. As long as he can find that, long-range threat and play around it effectively, Echo might get a lot of value in Brawl. I mean, there's not a lot of heroes that can directly pressure Echo, so Dark Ember looking to get a lot of ult charge early, already at 30%, 40 now, so approaching that copy very rapidly.
Yeah, very, very rapidly. Oakley trying to get something going in the backline, but is forced out, maybe to their death. No, it looks like they are able to get out safely. Dark Ember is able to find McNewbie. The threat is gone. The biggest thing holding them back is not there anymore. And Hyperion knows it, and they're taking full advantage of it as their team pushes hard. Stuffing things, charging Yellow Cello into that wall, gets them demeched, and that Rocket Hammer is going to finish things off for sure.
So on this next engage, I want to point to some of the ultimates that you might end up seeing. Obviously, Otter Oxide, they're approaching a window that's their best chance at winning the fight, but in all honesty, I fully expect this to go the distance because of Dark Ember's copy. So once that comes out, I'm looking at Big Muzzy to make sure that the sound barrier comes online to also help with the stall, or you can just pick off the Echo or...
Yeah, Shatter gets blocked, goes right straight into the shield of Bishop. Yellow Cello is able to take out Oakley as well.
Wow.
And with Dark Ember just now respawning, that should be a reset for Hyperion, but they still seem to want to try and contest this fight, and Stuffing Things is going to likely pay for it with his life as soon as this Immortality field goes down.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, like, he's going to pin in here, but it's too little too late. It's a 4v6, and that's just more time and more percentage in favor of Otter Oxide. 2 minutes on the clock now, and we already see a bit of an adaptation coming in. Hawk goes over to Echo in his own right. I like this adaptation as well, because I feel like when you're playing Reaper into what Hyperion's throwing at you, you can't reliably go after anybody. So at the very least, you can mirror what you're seeing on Hyperion's side and have a better chance.
Yeah, that's a really good point, although Hawk is very far behind in the ult percentage. Although they're 50% of the way there. D.Va Bomb comes out. It catches Dark Ember in the sky. That Echo's wings get clipped. Lexi is demeched as well. Stuffing Things goes low, but not before Felix Penguin is out. And once again, Otter Oxide takes control.
They're taking full momentum now and running it all the way to the finish line with it. Every single one of these engages that we've seen so far have been initiated by Otter Oxide. They throw the ults in. They go aggressive, and Dark Ember on that Echo was the one that opened it up previously. He's getting shut out pretty consistently right now.
Yeah, he certainly is. It really does feel like Otter Oxide has found their win condition, and that is shut down Dark Ember right now, for the most part. Hyperion deciding to rotate around to this high ground with Dark Ember on the flank as well. Copy comes in onto D.Va, an excellent choice to pick. The high noon comes out from McNewbie, but there's 2 defense matrices to keep those things at bay. But McNewbie is still somehow able to find the Deadeye kill. Not sure what happened there. You had so much at your disposal, Hyperion, to keep that at bay, but it just wasn't there. And Otter Oxide knows it, and they've taken care of the rest of your team.
It feels like a bit of a layering of defensives there from Hyperion. They feel the need to just force the issue. They throw the beat down. They use both of those D.Va matrices at the same time rather than staggering them, and as a direct result, McNewbie just holds the high noon, feels no pressure, gets 2 kills instantly, and the fight's already over. We're at 30 seconds, and might I add, Otter Oxide still has a time bank, so even if Hyperion pushes the distance here, they're staring down the barrel of so much more work just to have a chance at winning this.
Yeah, they certainly are, and they're taking a very, very roundabout route to get the point as well. You have to wonder if they even have time to do this. Amplification Matrix out on the high ground now for the rest of the members who are up there to try and use the Immortality field is out, but Dark Ember goes over to the Soldier. The Legs is at work now and is able to catch out Hawk. The D.Va is demeched as well. Yellow Cello on their last feet too. They go down incredibly yellow. Dark Ember finishes them off, and now Stuffing Things is able to just sweep that point clean with that Rocket Hammer and call it a day. That is, at least until the next fight happens.
Yeah, I think Hawk just over-aggressed there, expecting to get the copy out in time, but really got surprised by that damage-boosted Helix rocket from Dark Ember just landing mid-air there. And once again, the trend is occurring here. It feels like the DPS are what enable Hyperion to make things happen. If they're not on point, if they're not performing consistently, Otter Oxide are just going to continue to walk all over Hyperion.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Otter Oxide is playing very, very well as a team right now. Really, their coordination is something to be applauded. Hawk, right now, trying to hold on to this high ground desperately, is able to take out Dark Ember, so they're going to be able to push in very, very hard now. Shatter comes in from Bishop, but he's quickly removed from the fight after that. Oakley goes down as well, moments away from a Deadeye, and now Stuffin' Things is just left out to dry. And that's going to be the fight.
Staring at the Echo like a hawk approaching its prey. No pun intended with the name, by the way. But yeah, nice, cute Echo spray. I'm not exactly sure what achievement that's for, but whatever it is, I'm not surprised because when Hawk has been on point in these fights, it's just over instantly. You saw a lot of those sticky mines just exploding on multiple backline members, and as Hyperion, there's really nothing you can do in response to that, even with the double hit scan.
There's really not. McNewbie trying to catch somebody out on the rotation, but Hyperion able to get to that high ground without incident, and now they're going to be able to push pretty hard because Otter Oxide has to fall down and try and control this point. Amplification Matrix out now from Felix Penguin. Oakley on the low ground trying to get something done with this Deadeye. Goes back to the park to kind of pick it up. But yeah, Hyperion looking very split right now, and Otter Oxide grouped up and really in control. Stuffin' Things goes down dangerously low.
Shatter! Oh, it catches three there!
That was massive! The Immortality Field was out, but it's just not going to be enough. There's the Diva Bomb. It's going to catch Lissaru somehow! This is an even fight! No, take that back. One more pick on the side in favor of Hyperion. No, take that back as well. This is going to be a hold for Otter Oxide. What? I can't even predict this anymore. This is just going so many different directions at once. And now Hyperion has control of the card, although Otter Oxide is going to be able to recontest at the last moment.
They drop the window, the beat has to be dropped in response. The Shatter gets blocked by Stuffin' Things, trying his hardest, but McNewbie layers in that high noon. There's too much damage for Hyperion to stay alive through, it feels like, but they get the window on just in time. It's time to come back in for Hyperion. This is your chance to stay alive.
And they are just about to do it. As soon as this pesky Lucio and Baptiste get off the point, that's going to be it. They're going to be able to capture. But there are reinforcements coming in. No, they're not there in time. And Hyperion has a minute and a half left to finish this map.
You know, on that recontest, I do feel like it was a bit of a flub from Otter Oxide. You just had to wait long enough to get all 6 members back, but they feel the need to go early there, and Hyperion, they just kind of catch that aggression and run with it in the opposite direction and manage to survive. They've bought themselves one more opportunity to keep this map going for them. Let's see, rolling in and giving some free ult charge on over. Hawk almost gets a trade kill as well, but Oakley's High Noon is already getting pressured out.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. Stuffin' Things is down, so now there's no shield for that High Noon to hide behind. They're gonna wisely decide to regroup and try again.
Dark Ember actually almost getting caught out as well here. Goes down very late, so a bit of a late stagger here. That means only 20 seconds, most likely, will be on the clock. Lexi going for a bit of a back cap, but they're going to get CC'd down here, maybe even chased out by the focusing team. Hawk is ready to catch that every single time. I just don't understand why these things are happening right now.
Yeah, that was too early to try and get a back cap, I think. You don't really want to try and risk something like that unless there's, you know, like 5 meters or less to go, I feel like. Deadeye comes out, catches Bishop. That's massive. The Shatter comes in and catches many more members. But McNewbie pops up and says, see you later to Oakley and Felix Penguin, and possibly to the chances of Hyperion capturing this point. It is Lexi with a dream and nothing else left on point. Oh, never mind. Lissaru's there to keep her some company. Can anything come from this? Shatter comes in again. The beat is out from Lissaru. They're still contesting this card. Dark Ember back on this deadly Doomfist that we've seen. This could spell trouble, but it's McNewbie with the Doomfist diff that comes in big. And now Otter Oxide have the finish line in sight. They can finish it off here if they just hold on. Yellow Cello's bomb clears Lexi off the point, and that's gonna do it. The series is evened up 1-1.
That was a treat to watch, if I'm being honest, because there's just so many different individual plays going on in that overtime engage. But again, it does feel like Hyperion struggle when they find something that they can't counter anymore. Hyperion, they have to take all of that time just to figure out a decent way to deal with the echo comp, right? They have to go towards double hit scan, and it takes them a full 4 minutes just to figure that out for themselves. Really shooting themselves in the foot by not adapting quickly enough, and now we're starting to see history repeat itself for real this time. Hyperion 1-1 in this series. You have the map choice. You already know your strengths and weaknesses here. It might be time to pivot away and try to take the enemy team by surprise, because right now, Otter Oxide is the one doing the surprising.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They came back with a vengeance on Rialto. Although I do have to say, this it was... Hyperion was able to get it to the final point, but like you said, they wasted so much time there not swapping. As soon as Dark Ember swapped over to the Soldier, things started going their way again, and once they get it through their heads that when they make these swaps and these changes early on, it just leads to success. And this is an interesting pick. We're actually seeing Hyperion decide to go to King's Row for their next map.
Yeah, so again, more brawl here. The last time we saw this map, I believe it was Hyperion coming out of the Junkrat composition that really took Otter Oxide out of their comfort zone. They managed to push all the way to the end of King's Row with about 5.5 minutes, but then they got full health. So I think something that I want to pay close attention to this time around is how both of these teams play point 3 of King's Row.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. Hyperion just wasn't able to get that final push in, whatever they needed, whether it was sustained health or sustained damage. They just didn't have it. But they've got Dark Ember now, and maybe that's the key to unlocking this King's Row puzzle for them. We'll have to see, because without the King, King's Row does look a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, you don't have the namesake on your team anymore, right? King's Row, low-hanging fruit. I'm sorry, but had to go for it. I think Hyperion should have a bit of time to reset here and recognize the fact that, hey, we're still very capable in the mirror, right? Like, we know what we're doing here. It's just getting there, right? And it really is just about making those individual selections that enable the rest of the team to do their job properly. I'm really looking at stuff and things on Ryan in particular, because there were some moments where he single-handedly won some engages for Hyperion. And we should also mention that that second point defense from them was a little bit misguided because of the fact that they had that DC. So now that the teams are on even footing once again, we might see a bit of a different result here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The DC does play heavily into how well they were able to stall things out on second point. And, I just want to comment again on what you said about stuff and things. Really, being a carry as well on that Reinhardt. There was the shatter on the high ground second point on Hyperion's attack that was just expertly placed and played and followed up.
Exactly. So we'll have to watch that Reinhardt 1v1 very closely in this next map. And I say 1v1, but I think a lot of it does come off the back of how the rest of your team enables you. And something we should note, though, is that because of the fact that Hyperion has a new player in that's not the King, you're not going to have that Mei anymore. Maybe there has to be a bit of a playstyle change from them to accommodate this new player coming in.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. It's entirely possible. I mean, look at the Overwatch League, right? We didn't see Ryan played on King's Row, right? What in the world? It's like, it feels like the world has been flipped upside down, frankly, when you see at the highest levels, like a ball comp being played, love it, by the way, on King's Row. And so, maybe that's a look they go for. Maybe they look into something like a Sigma ball here, or a Diva ball even, because that would pair great, I think, with the Doomfist.
We can hypothesize, for hours here, right? But I think the biggest thing to note is just going off of what we've seen so far already and the past performances as well. I do think that once Otter Oxide has ults online, they're the ones in control of a lot of the fights in King's Row. And we'll have to watch and see if Hyperion can really start to snowball that momentum past these neutral engages that they're consistently winning. We touched on it a little bit before Rialto started, but we didn't really get to see a good performance out of Hyperion, it felt like, just because of the fact that they were always on the back foot in a lot of those fights. And now that, again, like I mentioned, we're on even footing, it's a 6v6, it's likely going to be a brawl mirror once again on King's Row, they're going to have a better chance to set the pace and dictate the tempo of this match.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And just want to mention too, we aren't seeing any swaps come in, which I don't think we expected to, but Stuff and Things definitely staying on that Reinhardt, which I think is a smart move from Hyperion as well. They don't want to, I don't think they want to rock the boat more than they have to. Specifically, because Dark Ember is coming in on this map as well, of course, because the king isn't here. So, yeah, it'll be. I'm excited to see what comes next.
Me too. Honestly, I'm just excited for more Overwatch between these two teams because there's been moments where it's just so even and neck, and it's right on the edge of your seat just every single fight. And I want this match to be really competitive because between the two teams that one of these teams is going to go face either Paradise Tempest or Growlithe, right? And you need to show that you can contest against a team in the heat of the moment and not give up if you even want to have a chance further into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a good point. The both Paradise Tempest and Growlithe, they have that clutch factor, right? They can clutch out the fights that they need to, and that really, I think, has set them apart in a way from the rest of the competition in Owlet. So, we need to see some resilience from whichever one of these teams I think ends up winning.
Ooh, okay. So, coming out of the gates on defense here, we've got Otter, Oxide. No May, surprisingly. They're going for McCree Reaper as we get a pause.
Ooh.
Pause. What would an Overwatch game without be a pause, right? We need at least a couple in here. We need maybe a couple more. I know we already got one previously. Can we get like a 5-minute in there?
Yeah, exactly, right? We are, what, I feel like maybe we don't want to have the Dark Ember bingo. Maybe we just want the Overwatch match bingo, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the double Torb hammer kill. We've got the 6K. We've got the pause. We've got the DC. Let's see here. What else have we seen? We haven't seen a 6-man shatter yet.
Yeah.
We've seen several 5-man EMPs though. Haven't quite gotten the 6th though on yet. So lots of exciting stuff in this match. Yeah. And I remember too from your time on the Nest this past week, you said that this one was probably going to go all the way, and it looks primed to do just that. I would not be surprised at all if we see a map 5 here.
Yep, 100% agree. I just think these two teams have had such a tumultuous time on their rise towards these playoffs, and finally, now that they're here, I can see the fact that it's neck and neck for a good reason. I mean, they have moments of greatness in their own right a lot of the times. It's just about putting it together consecutively. And Hyperion, they have all of the pieces of the puzzle together. They've got like half of it completed. A couple of pieces are missing here and there. As soon as they get those slotted in and they can start winning those ult engages, they're going to consistently take maps off of good teams.
Yeah, they really, really are. And we are headed back to our lovely faces now because there is another pause. Yep. So this is, interesting. Not sure what's going on, but I hope that whatever problems they're having get resolved because this is, it's got to be rough, having problems during a tournament, during a match. And that's got to wreak havoc on your mental as well. It's got to be in the back of your mind. It's like, oh, is the mouse working right? Is it bugging out? Am I having connections issues? So it's not something we necessarily like to see, but we're headed back in now, so that's good news.
Yeah, thank goodness there's no icing the kicker, right? Like where you just get to call a pause and totally stop a team's momentum. That would absolutely ruin Overwatch for me. But fortunately, we are live. We are rearing to go. Both teams taking this Brawl Mirror. Looks like Hyperion coming out on a Doomfist sim. Very interesting.
That is very interesting. Rotation comes into that high ground. Dark Ember already trying to get some work done, punching his way into Otter Oxide. Decides to just fall to the low ground though, and the fight continues here now on point. Oakley zoned out expertly by Yellow Cello, and without that sim beam, it's going to be a lot harder to punch through that shield of Bishops. Though Hyperion doesn't seem to be deterred, even when Dark Ember gets picked out as well. Yellow Cello zoning out somebody on the high ground now, and this goes firmly in favor of Otter Oxide.
They pick on the big Muzzy.
An exit pick.
Yeah, there's no Lucio on the field now. Hyperion, as long as they can kite this out and survive, they might have a chance. They lose their Reinhardt, so we're likely going to see a bit of a reset here coming in for Hyperion. The DPS got a little bit split on that engage. You saw the Doomfist sticking on that high ground, and the sim gets pushed away from the stack. Both of them going down. They need to hug their tank line a little bit tighter to have a better chance in the long run.
Yeah, we see Oakley as well coming in with a swap over to the McCree. Amplification Matrix out, Shatter thrown in, it gets blocked. McNewbie on the flank, who is able to stun out Dark Ember on that Genji. An interesting swap there as well. McNewbie pushed off the high ground as well. Otter Oxide has control over the point, but Hyperion's already gotten one tick on the board. Dark Ember able to find McNewbie now, but they go down very, very low. Can they survive?
Oh, it's so close. They get back to Felix Penguin just in time. 2 picks now for Hyperion means all they have to do is take this slow, maybe set up another ult or 2, push it all the way, and here comes the high noon from Oakley.
What a beautiful zoning ult right there to keep them out of the way. And it still catches too. Diva Bomb comes in, isn't able to get anybody, and they're able to get the kill before the remake happens as well. Wonderful play and awareness by Oakley and the rest of Hyperion. Nice point capture. They get to see the rest of at least Streets phase of King's Row.
Yep. Something I want to point attention to there was how Hyperion took that engage when they actually won it. So many different angles. You had your Genji on one side, the Kree flanking through Hotel, the stack of the tanks coming across the right side of Hotel. Just so many different things that Otter Oxide had to worry about, and they just got overwhelmed by it at the end of the day. And now they can kind of keep the momentum in their favor here for Hyperion, as long as they get this Blade online for Dark Ember. There's no defensive outside of Lamp, so we have to watch him in this next fight.
Yeah, this is going to be Dark Ember's time to shine once again. That Deadeye getting dangerously close, but the amplification matrix is out from Jumpy, throwing in a lot of heals and damage into Otter Oxide. Shatter gets blocked. Diva Bomb comes out. It's gonna get blocked, but not the way that it needs to, and Lexi gets the 3K. Hawk tries to equalize, but it's not gonna be enough. And Hyperion continues their terror through the streets of King's Row.
Was that a stun from Oakley? I think it was a stun from Oakley that shut down the shield from Bishop, which then enabled the 3K from Lexi there. Very, you hate to get caught by surprise as the Reinhardt. You really feel like, guys, don't worry, I got you. I'll put up the shield, and then boom, instantly the fight's over. So a quick reset. They had to burn a lot of ults to do it on Hyperion's side. So on this recontest, if Otter Oxide play it slow enough, they'll be able to charge them up.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That they don't have to worry about the Genji. They don't have to worry, at least for the moment, about Oakley. But Bishop's show goes down dangerously low, and the Shatter comes in though. Stuff and things charged out of it. McNewbie finds the pick on the Dark Ember, and Otter Oxide are gonna hold this third, at least this third corner of King's Row streets.
Yep, nice Shatter from Bishop, lays out Stuff and Things, snowballs that 5v6 into the fight win. Right now, Yellow Cello is demech though, so if Hyperion can regroup really quickly, push back in, they can capitalize on the lack of Diva and abuse that by going in with the window in the high noon.
And here comes that window.
There it is.
But yeah, Stuff and Things able to get the fire strike onto McNewbie, so there's no McCree left in the fight. Yellow Cello tries for the remake kill, doesn't quite get it. Hawk is there with the Death Blossom, but I'm not sure that that was really a wise idea considering how dominant Hyperion was during that fight.
Yeah, you're going to be sorely missing that. I don't think you're going to be able to contest the second point anymore as Otter Oxide. It would be a bit of a misguided attempt just because of the fact that you're so far down on members as well as no ults really. And now as we look towards third point, where Hyperion has struggled in the past, I'm expecting the story to be a little bit different because now they have 5 ultimates on the board to pop at any moment they so choose, and they're already going in with the high noon.
There's the moment the high noon is out. Quickly neutralized though. Trying to get the stun over the top of Bishop. Lexi gets the 2K. She gets both. They get both the supports. Jumpy and Big Muzzy are down. There's nothing left for Otter Oxide to rely on for their heals. And that is another quick fight win. And look, we are reaching the moment of truth now, where they last got stalled out. Can they push past it? Can they complete this map? It's all gonna be on the back, I think, of Lissaru and Stuff and Things ultimates.
Have to go in early here because if Yellow Cello gets the bomb out, everybody on Hyperion is so far forward. Oakley gets caught out on the flank, but he barely survives. Can he regroup with his team? Yes, he can.
The Shatter comes in, it catches several members of Otter Oxide. Bishop is down already. The Beat is able to keep the rest of the members of Otter Oxide up, but it's just kited away expertly by Hyperion, and now they get a chance to come back in and try again, but Bishop is already back in the fight. There's the amplification matrix. That shield's not gonna last long anymore, but Bishop has the Shatter to try and make something happen. Can they find that brief moment of vulnerability in Hyperion's line? Dark Ember already able to take out Hawk. The Shatter comes in, and it's big. They're able to hold on for dear life. And McNewbie, though they do go down very low, is able to survive and continue to get value for Otter Oxide.
That was just on a knife's edge there. For both teams at certain points, it felt like, when I saw Ogi survive on that flank, and he gets back to his team with the beat from Lissaru, I really did think it was Hyperion's time to shine, but Otter Oxide just kited out, and they're able to reset the fight, get it back in their favor on their own terms, and then come back in with some key ultimates to really flip it in their favor, namely Bishop Shatter. But they don't have that anymore. Stuffing Things looking to set up one for himself.
Absolutely, but the shield goes down dangerously low, as does their health. There's the Deadeye popped from Oakley. Immortality Field also out already from Felix Penguin, so Hyperion doesn't have that to rely on. There's the Shatter, but the Genji able to get a pick onto Jumpy. The Deadeye removed, as is the Deadeye user as well. A couple of picks come in for Otter Oxide, and that could spell trouble for Hyperion, because even though they have control now and the numbers, the respawns heavily favor Otter Oxide.
They just got that lamp from Hawk, rather from Jumpy on the cart. The beat's gonna come in from Big Muzzy, keeping this Reaper alive on cart. The sustain is so massive, but can it survive this blade? It looks like it's able to, but Hyperion still getting the numbers back in their favor. They get another pick on the McNewbie. They have to push for the victory now.
They're holding on for dear life. They remember, they know that this was the moment they got stopped, and they don't want Otter Oxide to think that they can do it again. The Shatter comes in though from Bishop, but look at the headshot from Dark Ember. Takes out Bishop before he's able to capitalize on that. McNewbie now onto this Doom, into the back line. The Immortality Field is out, barely saves Felix Penguin's life, and McNewbie forced to go back. The charge almost takes Stuffing Things off the point. They eventually fall to the Death Blossom of Hawk. And once again, it looks like Hyperion is cursed to not quite finish King's Row.
Oh, man, that hurt my soul. Like, literally, my chest is in pain here. Not because of a heart attack, I'm fine, but just saying, you know, hypothetically speaking, if I was on Hyperion's side, I would be in, you know, a lot of mental duress right now, because there was just so many opportunities there for them to win the map. And every single time they had a distinct advantage, they could not push it the distance. Otter Oxide had the answer on how to kite away, and it really did come off the back of keeping Hawk alive on that cart for so long. The lamp coming out from Jumpy just bought an extra 10 seconds, lets Big Muzzy get that beat online, and then the respawns roll through. Otter Oxide just seemed to have that third point defense on lock.
Yeah, they certainly did, just like last time. You know, there was just nothing that Hyperion was able to do. They've got to go back and, you know, they have to be kicking themselves a little bit. Although they should be proud of getting it a little bit farther this time around.
Yeah.
You know, last time it stopped, you know, a lot closer to the beginning of third point, but they got it to the doorway of victory, so that's good on them.
Yeah, so we talked a lot about making sure to watch if Hyperion adapts. They're doing it. On this defense, Dark Ember will finally be playing Mei in the Brawl Mirror. It'll be very interesting to see if other hero selections from Otter Oxide, namely the DPS, if they're able to recognize this new pick from Dark Ember and maybe have a different playstyle. You see Hawk starting on this Hanzo, likely to just to get a Sonic Arrow, look for a headshot as well. If he stays on it, I do like this option though, because now you have a bit of a longer range damage dealer that nobody really from Hyperion can deal with.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And oh no, McNewbie already catches out Dark Ember. Maybe you're absolutely right. Dark just not used to that Mei. And that's going to open things up very, very quickly for Otter Oxide. We see Hyperion already going back from point. Stuffing Things is down. And this point is just hopeless, I think, at this point for Hyperion.
They're going to force a couple of people back. If they don't kite now, it's already over and you're just losing more ult charge. Supports are going to make it out in time, but you already see Dark Ember struggling in the spawn room to figure out what hero he wants. He went to Reaper, now over to Tracer, but really it doesn't even feel like the hero choice matters too much. It's just a playstyle difference. Otter Oxide just hammering with this aggression right now. And honestly, Hyperion, you just need to reset, take a little bit of time on this next engage, and allow your Symmetra to ramp up first.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because once that Symmetra beam's going, there is hardly anything that can stop it. More powerful than a Zarya beam at full charge, even. Hawk does have this Dragon Strike online at this point. Going to the high ground to see if they can get something. Ooh, they're met by Dark Ember, but they get the headshot fade away kill. What incredible play from them.
Yeah, that one takes your breath away. Wow. Yeah, you get that fight win off of that headshot. Snowball through with some more ultimates, and Otter Oxide, they're looking to take this momentum and really go the distance with it. You got 5 minutes on the clock here. You have the Dragon Strike Grav combo. No defensive insight until Lissaru gets the beat online. Even a lamp from Felix Penguin will not save you. And you already see a more adaptation coming in. maybe a little incorrect in its choice because you have more consistent damage with the McCree, but the problem is really just the aggression in general from Otter Oxide.
Yeah, that's such a good point. We see McNewbie on that high ground get pushed out by Lexi. There comes the Dragon Strike.
Already over.
And it's already paying dividends. Yeah, Otter Oxide gonna get here to third point in a quick and easy fashion.
Yeah, as long as they get 3 people on, it's guaranteed. And we're seeing another speed run here. I think this might be the most time I think I've ever seen on a King's Row push. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to get the cart a measly 66 meters. And you've got a full charge Zarya, a lot of recontest ults coming in from Hyperion, but it's really just defensive in nature. Nothing really aggressive to open these fights up.
Yeah, we have the Desperation Bastion online now for Dark Ember. Although, you know what? I'll believe anything this guy puts his hands on because he has done such fantastic work for Hyperion so far. Hawk chunking in a lot of damage with that Storm Arrow. Diva Bomb comes in. Can they kite it away successfully? They are able to this time. Lexi not able to work that magic that they were before. Yellow Cello's able to get Oakley out as well. Beat coming in from Big Muzzy. Can Dark Ember get enough damage in to do the difference between what those shields are providing and what they need to do to get down? Hawk on a dangerous flank and pays for it. Hyperion able to hold here.
Oh, wow. That fight went on for a while. I think, Hyperion, they swapped to this Bastion as a bit of a last-ditch effort. And it ends up working out because they funnel a lot of defensive resources into it. And Otter Oxide doesn't have an immediate answer. With this McCree Hanzo composition, you'd expect the Bastion to kind of struggle, but Stuff of Things is pocketing him properly with that Reinhardt shield. The problem is now you've got this Dragon Strike to worry about. You cannot play in the same position anymore.
No, you certainly can, and if you layer it in with the Deadeye, you can catch people in places they don't want to be, just like Dark Ember, and he goes down. That's going to be the opening that Otter Oxide needs. The Shatter is massive, it catches 4, but Jumpy is there with the Immortality Field. Jumps right up and throws it into the air. That disc doing tremendous work to keep his team alive. And now, Hyperion is on the back foot. Lexi, demeched, taken out of the fight. Stun comes in onto McNewbie, but McNewbie able to find the headshot onto Oakley to keep this alive for them. And Otter Oxide getting dangerously close now to completing this. Penguin in the high ground, layering in as much healing and damage as they can. Otter Oxide gonna have to take a moment to regroup. Oh, but Jumpy gets the jump shot onto Felix Penguin and drops his own amplification matrix. Yellow Cello taken out by Stuff and Things though. This fight is brutal both directions.
Otter Oxide getting the better end of it at the tail end, though. They just have to survive this re-aggression coming in. They push away Dark Ember.
Oh, there it is.
Not enough members left on Hyperion to contest this objective properly. We're likely going to go to map 4 here.
I think so, and that's gonna do it. Otter Oxide takes the lead now in this matchup, 2-1. It is match point now. This is do or die for Hyperion.
And the next map type is Assault, so we're going to likely see a bit more of a drawn-out experience here, and I do think that does favor Otter Oxide once again, just on a macro level. They've shown the propensity for kiting that we need to see from good Brawl teams. They know how to take things slowly, play through their win conditions, and right now, when Hyperion gets an advantage, they can't push it the whole way through. They don't recognize when to go aggressive, when to go defensive, and they're getting caught in the chaos of a lot of these fights so far.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Hyperion take the first point on whatever control map we get, but I think we might see a hold on second from Otter Oxide, just because every time they've had the spawn advantage, they've shown that they can put up the defense that they need to hold back whatever it is Hyperion is throwing at them. So this really, I think, is the moment for Hyperion to come in and show that they can complete these maps. They can get that final little extra push that they need to get the win.
Very good point. The respawn advantage, I think, is something Otter Oxide understands very well. Next map is going to be Volskaya, so we'll be going to the snowy peaks of Russia, get to hang out with some big robots.
Yes.
I feel like in the background of Volskaya is something that goes so unmentioned. There's literally just like 15 robots fighting in the background, and I never see anybody talking about it. Hopefully Joey can give us a bit of a treat there and watch some mechs duel it out, but I think in general this map is going to be a bit of a different look from both teams. You can go for a bit of a dive look. You can get that Sig Ball like you talked about previously. You can even go towards double shields if you want to go for a more rotational style, taking advantage of high grounds and playing from different angles. But so far, I think both of these teams want to take the Brawl mirror.
I think you're right, but there is a substitution coming in. We do see Jesus Freak coming in for Hyperion, so maybe not. Maybe we are going to see something a little bit different. Could be a double bubble look even coming in here for Hyperion as well. This has piqued my attention now. You know, maybe they just need Jesus Freak in the lead.
Yeah, I think so, because they got that first map win off of Jesus Freak and Dark Ember tag teaming together in a lot of those fights. In particular, I think Jesus Freak's Winston has just been better than the upside you might get from Stuff and Things Ryan. So far, I really have not been seeing a lot of those huge shatters that get followed up upon that win fights for Hyperion. So it makes sense that you want to pivot away, go towards a map that plays towards your strengths that you've already discovered in the series. So Hyperion need to sort of rekindle that fire on that Winston composition with Jesus Freak at the helm.
Yeah, that is a very good point. And this is, like we said, this is their last chance to do it. But I think that this provides them with a pretty good opportunity here. You know, Otter Oxide just wasn't able to handle what they brought for him. But remember, it was still very, very, very close on that first map that we saw, right? So it's not like this is said and done. You know, Hyperion is going to take this. No, this is going to be close too, I think.
I mean, it's been close the whole way through at some points.
Yes, it
Obviously, in retrospect, you might look at some of the map scores and just seeing how Otter Oxide has been playing past that first map and just chalk it up to, okay, well, you know, first map jitters and whatnot. But I do think that this is a very competitive series when we get into the nitty-gritty of things. These fights are just on a knife's edge so frequently that the turning factor typically comes from things outside of teams' perspectives. Hyperion not respecting that respawn advantage, not capitalizing on enemy teams' mistakes quickly enough. And sometimes Otter Oxide gets caught up in that DPS duel. Obviously, Oakley and Dark Ember, big threats to worry about in their own right, but you guys have to still play that 6v6 map, and you can't forget about some of those flanks going on and some of these extra ultimates getting committed in the mid-fight. I think that's where Otter Oxide has struggled when the kite doesn't work out for them. That's when Hyperion really comes alive.
Yeah, and they've shown that they really do like to play flanky as well. You know, we saw Lexi, them on the Wrecking Ball on Rialto, you know, trying for the back cap even. And Dark Ember certainly on the Genji and the Doomfist looking for multiple angles and flanks. So that, I think you're right. That would be a very good look for them.
Yeah, so if I'm kind of hypothesizing about how Hyperion comes back into this match, it's very simple for me. Just play to your strengths, guys. Dark Ember is a very capable player when you put him on those heroes that he can have an actual impact on. The Reaper, the Doomfist, the Genji, like you talked about. I think those kinds of high impact, high upside heroes where, yes, you might consider it like a coin flip sometimes, but a lot of the time I still feel like he's capable of just winning fights on his own. And if you really play through that style, just allow him to pop off and enable him, you're going to have a much easier time than putting him on Mei.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And speaking of Dark Ember, it looks like we're actually getting a sub coming in. Ooh, possibly. Unclear at the moment. I wasn't sure if that was a DC or a sub. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what chat says right there. Oh, yeah, no, I think we just got a DC. So tell you what, why don't we throw it to a quick break? We will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend.
All right, we are back, everybody. Took a quick juggle break in the meantime, and yes, let's get back to it.
Oh my gosh.
Dark Ember has come back into the lobby. We are ready to go. You ready to see what this fourth map is going to bring us? Because, well, frankly, I think I already know. It's going to be excitement for one.
Yes. Well, things to, consider coming off of that break. I think we have Jesus Freak back in here. We saw him playing that Winston early on in the series. It ended up leading to Hyperion's first and only map win so far, so I'm kind of expecting more of the same, but, Otter, Oxide, they should be able to preempt this at this point. They've seen both main tanks playing, and they know their strengths and weaknesses, so once you see Jesus Freak getting swapped in, that should be kind of a litmus test, like an indicator maybe, that tells you exactly what you should expect coming in here. And already you see it. We have double bubble on the defending side with Hawk on that Echo once again. He was popping off on Rialto, so maybe he can recreate a bit of that success with some more open sightlines here.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Hawk does seem very well suited for this guy, and he does have that big Muzzy pocket this time, which I don't believe he had before.
No. He did not. He not having a Mercy does change the way you play Echo pretty substantially, but even when you don't have it, there's just so much raw power in that hero with a focusing beam where you can secure kills on anybody below 50% HP. That's going to come in so much handy when the backline of Hyperion has to rotate through these tight chokes. You cannot avoid the spam from Echo in a lot of these fights.
No, you certainly can't, but they're going to do their best. Lexi is there with the defense matrix. Jesus Freak can just jump over that wall. So they do have some routes around it. They don't have to necessarily go straight through the choke, but you know what? That's what they do anyway. Looks like they're going to be rotating around to this high ground. And I like this rotation from them. I think this makes a lot of sense. Where did Oakley come from? Taken out by Hawk.
That translocator throw was a bit erroneous as well. Indicates to me that maybe Otter Oxide scouted it out and destroyed it. Not having your somewhere in this engage means you just kind of have to sit inside this room, make sure nobody gets picked off, and charge up this Coalescence. It's your best chance at winning the next engage, but it looks like Otter Oxide does not want to wait this out.
No, they certainly don't. Anti-nade goes in. It's able to catch both the tanks on Hyperion. They have to play a lot more carefully now. They back out wisely, and now they start to push through, presumably because they've got their Sombra back. Jumpy goes down very, very low, but they're eventually able to get healed up. But Yellow Cello is not so lucky, and neither is Big Muzzy. And Hyperion coming back with a vengeance here on Volskaya.
Yeah, Oakley goes down in that first fight, but the moment he gets back and the moment you see that the double bubble backline has literally walked into you, you're chomping at the bit. You are literally foaming at the mouth to get that engage going. And that's exactly what happens. They just walk in, no coalescence required. And they're going to be thanking their lucky stars that they kept that, because they're going to have to deal with a very long fight here. Hawk's going to get this copy online, Jumpy with the Nano as well, and likely Bishop's Primal, so you have to survive through all of this stall and make sure nobody goes down to McNewbie in the mid-fight.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I'm going to be looking at Lissaru to try and get this sound barrier online as quick as she can. Anti-nade comes in, catches 3 members of Hyperion during the rotation around to the backside, but they're gonna make it through safely. And yeah, there's a couple of members from Hyperion getting separated and picked apart now by Otter Oxide. Bob on the point now, just dealing too much damage for even Lexi with her defense matrix to deal with. Dark Ember goes down in the back line, tried to get away, but just wasn't lucky enough.
Yeah, he crossed his arms and just died. He tries to TP lane, instantly gets blown up, but
so edgy, so edgy.
Exactly, right. And then something else I wanted to mention, there was Jumpy drops the nano on Bishop, and Hyperion kite that out, and then they realize they have an advantage, but Jesus Freak just jumps in and completely ignores the fact that Felix Penguin can't pocket him behind some of those walls. And once you lose your Winston, one of those main sources of damage mitigation, you can't outlast what the enemy team is going to throw at you. So Otter Oxide looking to recreate that success, stall it out with the copy once again.
Speaking of outlasting what's thrown at you, though, Otter Oxide is going to have to do a tremendous amount of that because Hyperion has 5 ultimates coming online right now, and so many of them can keep this thing going for so long. There's the engagement. Jesus Freak pops the Primal Rage in the backline. They're looking desperately to try to take out Jumpy. Jumpy unable to jump away from that and is eventually taken out, but Jesus Freak is so far in the backline he's not able to help the rest of his team, and in the meantime, they've also gotten to pick onto Felix Penguin.
Yeah, no Moira left on the cart now, and no beat from Lissaru either. You're not going to have sustained. Double bomb, rather, coming in from Otter Oxide just explodes everybody from Hyperion. That's a quick reset.
Yeah, and what started as 5.5 minutes on the clock has quickly been whittled down to just 3.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at Oakley on the Sombra here, not really able to find a good EMP, and I think that's a bit of the bottleneck problem for Hyperion. Everything is being funneled through the DPS already when you consider how the team has been playing so far. And now with this composition where your Sombra and your Reaper are just failing to find value, naturally Hyperion are going to struggle.
Yeah, they certainly are. Felix Penguin is hopefully going to be able to get this Coalescence online for them, but Jumpy already has this nano coming up. EMP comes in and it catches 5. Yellow Cello, the only one not hit on the side of Otter Oxide. Big Mosey goes down very quick. And that is the opening, especially with Hawk out of the fight, that Hyperion needs to try and make something happen here. Anti-Nade comes out, though, and it is able to catch a couple people, and now the picks are going the way for Otter Oxide. But Hyperion does have 1 tick on the board. We're not going to see Draw Skya today, that's for sure. Hyperion coming up big again. They're able to get 2 ticks. Can they get a 3rd? Hawk on this Echo, trying to do as much as they can, but they're just not able to stay alive. And that's going to be it. Hyperion finally able to overcome the spawn defense of Otter Oxide and finish with a healthy 2 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock.
I mean, they EMP'd and they won. I think we can kind of draw some conclusions from that one. When Oakley presses Q, Hyperion has an easy time with it. And, the moment they set up that Sombra for success, like you talked about, Felix Penguin supporting the DPS rather than, having to deal with the liability of them. They're working together rather than separate now, and this is going to look really good for them going into this next phase of Volskaya, because I really do think that composition fares pretty well against Poke, as long as you survive and rotate around, which clearly Hyperion are capable of doing. They know how to play with the terrain, buy enough time for specific cooldowns, and not over-aggress too much. Obviously, we did see a couple fights where Jesus Freak goes a little too deep and abandons the backline, but in all honesty, I can kind of forgive that. You learn from those mistakes, and Hyperion, they've hit the books, and they've learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah, they certainly have. This is not the Hyperion that we saw 2 weeks ago. And I mean, let's think about that. It's only been 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks since these two teams faced, and this is a much different story. Hyperion has done a tremendous amount of work to bring themselves up to the level that Otter Oxide has been playing at, and possibly beyond.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of new looks from them. And speaking of new looks, we've got the full 6-man dive composition playing in the corner. So they're looking to explode out onto a single target that's not ready for them. In my opinion, though, I don't think this is going to work too well on a first-point defense. The moment somebody gets caught and picked on the defending side, you kind of struggle to recontest.
Yeah, McNewby's already spotted them out. Anti-Nade comes in and it catches Lexi. They're going down very, very low. Dark Ember forced to kite away, but Lissaru is actually able to get the pick onto Jumpy, but it's quickly equalized onto a pick on a Felix Penguin, and that's arguably going to be better for Otter Oxide.
All they really have to do is just wait for those respawns. They're going to res Jumpy, walk it in slowly as well. McNewby going deep, trying to dual Oakley, forces out that translocator. She actually spotted that going away as well, but everybody else on Hyperion struggling to survive on the cart because in the meantime, everybody from Otter Oxide is still alive, and that's a first point win now for Otter Oxide.
Yeah, I think what you said was pretty accurate. That corner hold just did not do what Hyperion was hoping that it would, and their members just got scattered and picked apart by Otter Oxide. They're gonna have to really think hard about how they're gonna hold this second point because Otter Oxide has almost 6 minutes to capture now.
That big time banks. That seems to be the theme of the day, is we actually get a unstealth melee onto Oakley. Don't think he meant to do that, but he will take that any day of the week because now Otter Oxide forces out that Sombra. They're going aggressive onto Jesus Freak already.
Yeah, Jesus Freak goes down. McNewby able to find the pulse bomb, and now Oakley left on point here, trying to get a hack in to take somebody out. But Listeru goes down, Yellow Cello goes down as well. Dark Ember able to find a pick on a Big Muzzy, but that's not going to be enough. There's 4 members still alive. No, make that 5 still for Otter Oxide. And despite these respawns, I don't think that Hyperion has much of a hope.
Yeah, Dark Ember was their best chance at success.
Oh, the
They're going to
anti.
the flank, and yeah, the moment your McCree dies on that off angle and you can't trade back, it's just so difficult to come back into the defending team. Lexi trying her damnedest, but if the EMP comes out late though, it's not enough in my opinion.
No, it's really not. 4 people caught, but it's quickly shaken off by Otter Oxide. Despite Jumpy going down, though, this could be a hold for Otter Oxide. No, Jesus Freak is just too low. And with Listeru the only one still alive on point, and Oakley on their way, this is going to be so difficult for them to try and do. And they have got they've got more than 2 more minutes than Hyperion.
That's a lot of time. Yeah, that is a lot of time on the watch there. Going to be watching it closely as the rest of this map continues. I feel like Otter Oxide has kind of solved it now. Hyperion, they go for these very misguided attempts at defense, and they just throw everything in the kitchen sink at the enemy team, and if it doesn't land, and if you're not careful enough to cover your back line, those strategies just don't work in the long run. Especially when you're playing a composition that requires everybody to play together. As the attacking team, you can just kind of fan out and play wherever you want to. Pull that 6-man dive comp in a different direction and laser down Felix Penguin on that Moira. It seems like Felix has just been struggling so much in a lot of these fights, and I don't blame him, right? He's the primary target in this composition besides Jesus Freak, in my opinion. But already, we're going to see a bit of a different look now for the DPS. I think Dark Ember going towards Doomfist is interesting. I just don't think it's going to be enough to overcome what McNewby and Hawk have been providing here. All of that damage being layered into your tanks and your backline, there's really no DPS pick you can select that alleviates that, in my opinion. Besides something like a McCree. And already we know that Dark Ember is a flex DPS player. He flexes to a lot of different heroes, but is hit scan really in the cards for him? I'm not 100%.
No, it doesn't really look like it. And already Sticky Bomb's coming out for a little bit of early ult charge. Both teams, just posturing here on point. We're going to see the exact same rotation come in from Hyperion that worked well for them on this first push, and this time it looks like they're not going to have Oakley missing for it. McNewby definitely checking, spy checking right now. And Hyperion decides to go for the engage on the island in the middle here. Hack comes in onto Bishop, but Dark Ember is quickly removed from the fight. Bishop goes down as well, but Felix Penguin removed as well. And Hyperion just gonna have to back off now. Oakley might get the DMAC onto Yellow Cello. Nope, not gonna happen, and they're healed back off.
Alrighty, cool. So Dark Ember does go over to McCree now. I like this swap. It's gonna allow you to pressure out Hawk and Big Muzzy if they can't play as aggressively anymore as you're rotating through. Is it too little too late though? Because Hawk has the copy. If you pressure him out, he will just ult and extend his lifespan by another 15 seconds. Really, I think the only target is Big Muzzy, and so far they've really struggled on Hyperion's side to target that Mercy properly.
Yeah, they certainly have. You know, if you can get a hack onto her, or a couple of quick headshots, that'll do it. But that just hasn't been in the cards yet. We see Hyperion starting the engagement now, pushing to the low ground. Jesus Freak goes down very quickly. Hawk has duplicated onto this Diva now, and the bomb is thrown in, but it's not even going to be needed. There's already so many picks in favor of Otter Oxide that this fight is over, and there's only 30 seconds left for Hyperion to try and make something happen.
And they're staggering the baby Diva too. I can't even tell who that is back there. Is that an Oakley Sombra trying to survive? And eventually they're going to get taken out too. So 15 seconds and it's going to be a 5v6, almost guaranteed now. You're not going to have that EMP online. And look at all the stall tools as well from Otter Oxide. The bomb, the primal, the bob. So many different ways to extend this.
Yeah, and Jesus Freak just touches point to proc that overtime. Felix Penguin goes down immediately after that. The bomb to clear point is big. Remec comes in rather. Dark Ember is able to get a pick with the high noon, but nobody is really able to get to point. Sombra trying right now, Oakley on that Sombra, but they've already gone to the back, and that's it. Hyperion gets full held on their second attempt.
I mean, I'm kind of speechless too, because I was watching a lot of those fights taking place, and you know, I feel like Hyperion should have learned their lesson from their defense. They can't just go out onto a single target and not expect the echo composition to take multiple angles on you. They're really getting punished in something that they already failed in, which tells me that, again, it's their failure to adapt to the current situation. They just don't understand how to counter the composition from Otter Oxide anymore, and they've tried and failed on almost every single look that they've had. Dark Ember's Doomfist can't carry when everybody plays so split, and it's looking dire for Hyperion. They have to hold for 4 minutes and 19 seconds just to tie.
Yeah, they do. And they have, though, the composition to try and do it. We've got the Bastion pick coming out with the double shield and a Symmetra. This is going to be brutal to run into if you are Otter Oxide.
Yeah, I agree. So naturally, as Otter Oxide, as long as you just come out and scout that composition, boom, 6-man dive, go brawl, force the objective, right? Pull them in different directions, go after those supports. I think this is a very simple composition to play around. You just remove a lot of the supporting pieces for that Bastion, and naturally he won't be able to carry hard enough. So I think Otter Oxide, they're going to come out, scout this composition, maybe tool a couple of individual hero swaps, but I'm likely expecting some form of either dive or brawl to come out here so that they can just force the objective and start to take out some of those vulnerable backlanes.
Yeah, I think that's all very, very good points. Although, it looks like Otter Oxide is, nope, they are going back to spawn. They are going to make some swaps here, so, be interesting to see what they decide to roll out onto now. Bishop, gonna go over, it looks like, to Wrecking Ball. Yeah, okay, I see. So we're gonna see a Ball Sig composition here.
Yeah, with a lot of long-range damage. You've got the Hanzo and the Ashe now. Two very potent threats on Sniper. And looks like Jesus Freak actually just dropped the shield on the low ground, so early rotation has to come out now from Dark Ember. They take the TP to the left side. They're trying to posture properly, but now the teleporter is destroyed, so Hyperion's position is very static.
Yeah, this is gonna be really, really tough for them to hold on to now. That Wrecking Ball is gonna be able to knock some people off this high ground, and they are playing precariously close to it. I know if I'm a Wrecking Ball, I am salivating when I see people that close to the edge. McNewbie goes down, takes a face full of bullets from Dark Ember, and Dark Ember looks like they are so far starting out pretty positive with this Bastion pick.
Yeah, it's strange to me because Otter Oxide properly removes that teleporter, and then they just kind of sit there and wait. Even when Jesus Freak drops off that high ground, they still feel like they don't have enough of an advantage to engage, and as a direct result, they just get another teleporter and allow Dark Ember to go back and forth once again. So we're probably seeing a lot of repeated mistakes here from Otter Oxide, just trying a bunch of different things to see what sticks. And now we go over towards Pharah Hanzo, so even more long-range damage. You layer this with the nano from Jumpy and the boop from Bishop. This is their best chance.
That was a huge boop. It knocked so many members of Hyperion onto the ground, and now McNewbie's able to take out Dark Ember. This is it. This is the opening that they need. We see Bishop getting ready for a big slam on the point. McNewbie nanoed. Can they get the picks that they need to keep holding on to this? Oh, look at that shot. The headshot into Jesus Freak, taking down that Orisa. It is now just 2 members left of Hyperion on point, and they're getting slammed right now by Bishop, the pile driver coming in from the top rope, and they're gonna start to proc this percentage, and unless Hyperion can come up with some kind of magnificent hold, that's gonna do it. Otter Oxide is your victor. They're gonna go on in this tournament to face either Paradise Tempest or Team Growlulu.
Let's all take a big sigh and give our 07s in chats to Hyperion. They put up a great fight, and it did look close at the end there, but once again, their inability to adapt quickly enough just really punishing them in the long term of this series. Every single time that they lost the map, it felt like they just did not have the proper answer or even a fast enough answer to try against what Otter Oxide threw at them. So in a way, it is a bit of deja vu from the last time that these two teams played, but a lot more competitive. I think Hyperion, so many
much more
individual plays that I feel like they can rely on in the future. Having this new Flux DPS player that is just as adept as the king in his own right, that's a great look for them, right? Because in the future, now you have a new tool that you can swap in on specific maps.
Yeah, I mean, what an amazing pairing, to be perfectly honest. Dark Ember and the King. You know, like if both of them had been in here today, I wonder if we would have seen things look a little bit differently for Hyperion. But, you know, we can't think too much about that because Otter Oxide has a tall order ahead of them next. They have to either face Paradise Tempest or Team Growloo, both of which have looked almost untouchable. Now, before we close things out, though, we're going to get an interview in here. So stick around because we're going to be right back.
I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me for. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend.
We are back, everybody, and we have crowned an MVP. Let's do a little drum roll here in the booth. Dementus, do you want to deliver the news?
The MVP of today's match is Hawk, and we actually have him for an interview too. So, hello, welcome,
Woo-hoo!
Hawk, to the interview booth. Congrats on the MVP. Congrats on the win. How do you feel after that one?
Feeling pretty good. Nice team win.
Yeah, short and sweet. I like it. So to get the interview kicked off here, my first question for you is going to be, we saw you playing a lot of Echo, and I was wondering if that was sort of a deliberate effort on behalf of Otter Oxide to put you on that hero specifically to allow you to pop off. Was that sort of like an Otter Oxide special where we just kind of enable Hawk on that Echo pick?
It was deliberate by me because I was tired of playing Reaper.
Makes sense.
So they told me to play Echo and I just didn't want to swap off, so I didn't.
There you go.
That's fair. Well, I'm curious, after the first map where Hyperion came out, they barely snuck out a win, but it was on the back of Dark Ember on that Doomfist. What kind of changes did you all have to make, and what was it like in chat as well? Were you all a little bit worried at that point?
Well, he was playing pretty well on that Doomfist, but I don't think we had our sound turned up or something, I don't know. because we just never looked at them.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah, that's fair.
we got an earful of Saber and Mr. Crit telling us to look at the Doomfist.
That's fair. So maybe Mr. Crit and Saber could share that MVP a little bit, because honestly, I think shutting down Dark Ember on that Doomfist was a big part of what you all needed to do to get the win. Now, looking forward into your next matches, is there one team that you're hoping to go up against versus the other? I mean, I guess we could do the calculations at this point to figure out exactly who it is.
Yeah, when it would be.
I don't have that in front of
TG.
me. So you're all going up against TG. All right. So that is a tall order, as you know. And I don't want you to divulge any strategies or anything, but yeah. What do you think you're gonna have to do to play up against Team Growloo?
Just play some good team Overwatch, team-based Overwatch. Hopefully, I don't have to play Reaper every map.
Yeah, I suppose that's
Maybe get some Genji
that
in
would
there,
be a good
but
thing too.
Yeah. I think your Genji actually did a lot of work on King's
Yeah.
Row. I was watching that one pretty closely. And in general, for my last question, I just wanted to ask if you had any specific shout-outs to coaches, players, anybody that gave you some breakfast in the morning, anything like that.
Shout out to Bishop for actually blocking a shatter this game.
He got a lot. He blocked a lot, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
I was impressed with that. Yeah, like Jesus Freak didn't get hardly any through.
Been doing something else. I don't know, because he hasn't really been able to block shatters recently. So I don't know.
Excellent. Well,
practicing.
Great shout out to him, and happy that he was able to shield your team from laying down on the job today. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and be sure to catch these semifinals that will be happening this weekend. Team Growloo up against Hyperion, Paradise Tempest up against Rogue Dragons. This is going to be another set of fantastic matches. My name, once again, is Warren Juggle God Hammond, and I have been joined in the booth by my friend, Mr. Amyntas Major, for this wonderful broadcast. Thank you, Joey, on production, for doing excellent work as always. Thank you, Owlet community. GG's, and see you next time.
GG's.